Good morning, America. How's everybody doing this fine, wonderful? It's a very dreary, wet, rainy, cold Monday here where I'm at, and on my way to work after just finishing up a fantastic new workout. I started my new 6-week split. I typically, when I'm working out, switch workouts every 6 weeks just to prevent myself from hitting that plateau, because I've been working out a while. I'm pretty sure I know my body and like the limitations of my body when I start getting up to the upper weights and stuff. And once you get to that point, there's no point of, constantly keep trying to, 1 week hit your max for 4 reps, and then the next week hit it for 3, and the next week hit it for another 4, that type of struggle, basically plateauing out and not really increasing like you wanted to, basically plateauing out. And I've just decided that works best if I switch it every 6 weeks. For me, anyways. For me. And some people may be different. A lot of people may be different. Some people may do 8-week spreads. Some people may do, different kinds of a month spread, etc., etc. But for me, it typically works best if I do a 6-week spread on a workout, on a workout routine and stuff. And since I only lift three times a week and do cardio and conditioning the other 3 days, 2-3 days, then there's no need to I'm not working myself to death in lifts and stuff. But anyways, let me get back. Let me get to something that caught my attention this weekend, and something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. Something that's very controversial with a lot of people in certain communities, and it just seems kind of weird, and something you just need to think about need to think about it in a different sense. Now, full transparency, I'm a hunter. I like to hunt. I recently got back into my passion of hunting this year. I went hunting this year, and I've been, focusing on trying to get my dream animal to hunt. My dream animal, the one I really want to hunt. That's an elk. That's a bull elk. Right now there's one state I can't put in because for some odd reason their system started January 1st, January, February, whatever. But other states are starting to put in now, and March and stuff. Now I'm putting in my name, and most of the states are very cheap to put in, non-refundable, which makes sense because let me just tell you. All right, let me just back this up. Okay, I'm trying to hunt an elk, right? I live all the way on the East Coast. There's the subspecies of elk that used to live on the east of the Mississippi is fully extinct, right? All right, so they're fully gone. There was technically no elks in the eastern states until the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation started bringing them in to places like Kentucky. Kentucky was actually seemed like the mainstay for it, for reintroducing the elk, because they've had such a good success in breeding and bringing the population of elk to, a sustainable level down in Kentucky, up there in Kentucky, that it's actually bled into some of the other states. Virginia is starting to get natural elk from the Kentucky counties surrounding those borders, from its state borders, just wandering over there now. That's fantastic. Tennessee is starting to get a large enough population. Pennsylvania has a large enough population to hunt. There are several other states that have large enough populations to actually hunt. But from my research, as of right now, there's only technically 3 states an out-of-state resident can hunt. Okay, there's like 9 states on the east of the Mississippi that has elk right now. And of those 9 states, 8 of them are, maybe 8 of them, 7 or 8 of them, you're actually allowed to hunt. And of those 7 and 8, I think only 3 actually give out non-residence tags. I'm a non-resident. My home state of Georgia does not have elk. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening within the next 10 years of them, anybody introducing elk into this area. I would love it. I would absolutely love it, but there's a lot of things that went into making those elk herds in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, those areas a very success, great success. One of them is, all right, first off, let's go with the normal predators that are going to hunt. The reason why we want these over here, that's to hunt. As a hunter, you want to hunt these animals, which is very weird considering we're the ones who wipe them out. And it's also even more funny is that most of the time these hunters, it was such an outcry of hunters, and so many hunters wanting to put in money so many of these hunters want to put into like foundation of buying these elk, get them tested for chronic wasting disease, making sure that they're healthy enough animals to even bring over from Colorado, Canadian areas, Western areas and stuff to even get over here. And then not to mention the state has to buy like tracts of land, the state themselves has to buy tracts of land, because let's be honest, a farmer is not going to like a 700-800 pound bull elk eating his fucking crops. Okay, there's a reason why these people have got rid of these animals in the first place. And it's not just because they could get money for their antlers or their meat or anything. It's mainly because they were a nuisance to agriculture and livestock and things of that nature. It's the reason why farmers got rid of them. It's like you can't have a successful yield of crop if you got a herd of 20 elk devouring all your corn or soybeans, etc., etc. You can't have that. So these places that have success, actually have very small, I wouldn't say very small areas, but smaller areas of success, because they're away from farmers, they're away from, commercialization, they're away from people, and the hunters really want to get a chance to hunt these elk by legal means. It's like we live in a weird society to where poaching is very looked down upon. However, we have to recognize what poaching really is. What is really poaching? Now, everybody has this weird conception when it comes to poaching as to who poaches, why they poach, etc., etc. Now, who poaches? In your mind, it's going to be, in a non-hunter's mind, heck, you can say in a lot of hunters' minds, it's typically somebody who's, has got a lot of money, just wants a thrill to hunt an animal that they're not allowed to hunt. They paid a lot of money to do it, and hunt an animal, and voila, that's what you think. You think about most rich people. I'm going to tell you, that's not really a lot of the case. I would say at least 90, those turkeys, those are big ass turkeys, you motherfuckers! Sorry, turkey season's coming up, and those are 3 toms out in the middle of the road right here on my way to work. That gets my heart pumping. I'm so excited for turkey season coming up. Sorry. I shouldn't really cuss like that. I was excited to see them. That's awesome. I saw 3 big old gobbling turkeys, gobblers over here, close to, I wouldn't say close to where I live, but that gives me hopes to get out there, because I've never really turkey hunted before, and I've always wanted to give it a real good try. I've been out there turkey hunting before, but never like actual turkey hunting. I've been out there when I was a kid, but as an adult, I've never really been out there. So I'm going to give it a good old college boy try to actually try getting me a turkey or 2 this year. Anyways, let's go back to what poaching is. Now, what is poaching typically done by? Like I said, you probably think it's an expensive, a very rich person who wants to, have a pretty thing to show on his trophy case or something like that. I will tell you, 99% of that is false. 99% of that is highly false. So what is poaching? Poaching, who are poachers? Typically, poachers are poor people. They're people who are struggling. And this brings up a point for like the African elephants, elephants, about how people were calling, how could you kill an endangered animal, that sort of thing is like, how could you kill an endangered animal such as that, Yes, they're endangered in certain parts, but there's some other parts they are destructive, and sometimes the herd needs to be called to preserve, before the locals decide to just flat out eradicate them, like how we did with the elk and other species here in North America. They need to be there need to be controllable numbers to where we can still have them, but they're not so much as a nuisance to where the locals are deciding to flat out kill them. Now, you've seen, the big game hunters out there who kill an elephant and stuff, and you hear about, oh, how could you do that? How could you do that? How could you do that? However, they have full transparency. They're fully open. They're saying, yeah, we hunted. We hunted it. Yeah. But you got to understand, they paid a lot of money to hunt this animal. And typically, they're not bringing a lot of that animal meat home or any things of that nature. It's typically going to the village. And the village is going to be able to eat, have commercialization because of it. Now when the pandemic happened and people were not able to travel to countries like that, you want to know how many more elephants were killed that last year alone due to poaching than actual guided hunts. Why is that? Because the people who give out the guided hunts, the guides and stuff who live there, the villagers who live there, they're poor, and they needed to make money to sustain their family. Now, they're not. We take for granted these weird luxuries that we have. And those people, people in those type of societies don't have that luxury like we do. So, if you got an elephant that could feed your whole entire village, as being an asshole, and its tusk and its ivories can bring a good bit of money to your village, and you're on your last straw, what else do you think is going to happen? I mean, duh, they're going to be hunting the elephant. And it brings up a weird point that I've heard and given a lot of thought about, and it makes a lot of sense the more I think about it. It's called conservation by commercialization. Conservation by commercialization. What does that mean? What does that mean? Conservation by commercialization. In other words, these elk. I don't really know too much about how they do with the African elephants and stuff. This is just something I've read a little bit and heard a little bit. I'm not going to dive into the details like I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I did a lot more research on these elk and how this all worked and how this all came about and stuff. And because I really want to hunt the animal. This will bring up a different kind of point that I'm off after this little segment right here. Is conservation by commercialization. We brought elk to the eastern states to hunt. Okay, just to hunt. Not for the biomass, not to increase biodiversity in the U.S. For all intents and purposes, we brought these animals to hunt. Okay? And I know that sounds very weird. We bring an animal, we try raising up to a population so that we can kill it. However, with modern way of thinking, we have thought of a way to make it to where we can keep these animals in a healthy type environment while still being able to hunt. But how do we do that? You have to pay to hunt these animals, all right? Now, even as a resident, hunting some of these animals in certain states is very expensive. It's going to be very expensive. And they don't give out tags to everybody. Most of these states are lottery-based systems. For instance, I was reading up on some of these states. I can't remember which state it was exactly, but they do let out 10 tags. 5 to non-residents, 5 to a tribe, I imagine is local to that state. And those are the only tags they give out as of right now. 10 tags. And that's not to mention these 10 tags, you don't know if you're getting. I didn't really read up on this state in particular too much, because when I saw non-residents allowed, I was like, damn it. But I'm keeping an eye on it. I might read up on it more when I get a moment. But they allow for a certain amount of antlered deer and a certain amount of cows. Okay? And those numbers vary from state to state based off the populations, estimated populations of the animals. They have certain zones you're allowed to hunt, certain seasons you're allowed to hunt. Pennsylvania is a great state that I've been looking at to hunt for my first elk. Last year, our last hunting season, 2020-2021, they opened up the first archery season and late cow season. That's the first time they've opened it up. The regular season has been going on for like 20 years, but it's only been like 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks, I can't quite remember. But they just opened up the first, those type of seasons. And they also give out non-resident tags. However, I will say this, non-resident tags are expensive. They are going to be expensive. That's just the nature of the business as a non-resident hunter. Heck, I work in South Carolina, but I live in Georgia. And I work in an area that's thriving with deer and turkey and hogs. I can't hunt it because I don't have a non-resident South Carolina tag. Mainly because I really don't want to pay a non-resident South Carolina tag to hunt these animals that I hunt in my own backyard in Georgia. 5 minutes away from where I work, basically. 5 minutes away from home. But that's just me. That's just the nature of me. I might do it this year because I've been wanting to get in the hunt more, but that's potato potato. So you go through conservation through commercialization. The money that these people spend to hunt these animals is astronomical. I was reading up on some of the states that just started their raffles. They just started, allowing to hunt within the past like 5-6 years, somewhere right around there. And some of the prices for one of these tags have just gone straight through the fucking roof. I can tell you, North Carolina, Cherokee area has got a decent sized herd of elk that they've reintroduced from Kentucky and all these other places. They got a decent sized herd. I don't know if they discussed about opening it up to hunters yet, but I've driven past that area where they are, and don't get me wrong, that was beautiful to see. However, it's highly commercialized right there where they always are. I wouldn't say they always are, but typically are. There's a lot of cars there. They won't allow people to get so close to these animals. They're trying to keep them in a natural state, as much as a natural state they can. But they have to admit that them bringing these animals brought in a lot of revenue for the local town and for the forestries and things like that, because people on the East Coast do not get to see animals like that typically. I know some of you West Coast people and some of you Northern people get to see mooses and big bears, elk, caribou, all these other weird animals, pronghorn, things of that nature. But here on the East Coast, I can tell you, we don't see a lot of biodiversity outside of turkey, out of the big game anyways. Turkeys, elk. God, I'm thinking about elk right now. Turkey, whitetail, and hogs. Those are typically the three big things we see when it comes to hunting. When it comes to big game hunting on the East Coast, especially around the southern states, especially with like natural hunting. All right. So we don't get to see these weird animals. And I know that it's very weird for me to say the only reason why I want these animals to thrive is so that I can hunt them. I will tell you one thing. I love animals. I have them. In fact, before I went to become a wastewater operator, water operator, and before I got my degree in biotech, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a wildlife biologist, things of that nature. Couldn't. I didn't want to go through all that schooling. I'm lazy. So sue me. Okay? But anyways, it's kind of weird for me to say that I love animals and I'm willing to shoot them. Okay? I will honestly say I feel more connected to the things I eat, especially my protein-wise, meat-wise. I feel more connected to it than probably a lot of other people. Hunters are probably more connected to the animals they eat. They are more aware of what they're eating and like feel the soul of the animal versus somebody who just gets their meat at the grocery store, not thinking about that it's been processed or anything of that nature, and just eat it, carry on throughout the day. I'm probably more connected to, that type of stuff than most people are because I'm a hunter. because I know the struggle of going out in the woods, buck ass early, to sit there, freeze my ass off, and not see a damn thing. Come inside, go inside, and get up and do it again tomorrow in the hopes of almost a 5-second window. Pretty much of a 5-second window. You know, it takes less than that to sometimes shoot an animal, but it may be less than like 5 seconds for you to decide to get a chance to shoot the animal that you've been sitting quietly here for hours, freezing your ass off, getting wet while it's raining, and then here comes the 5-second shot that you get. There's something primordial and majestic and noble about hunting, and I think a lot of people give it a bad rap because of the luxuries we share in the U.S. The luxuries we share in the U.S. You know, that's crazy, right? I mean, but anyways, I just thought it's just something that just came across my mind this weekend because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and dream about hunting, fishing, and got me thinking, got me down some weird rabbit holes, you know, listening in, learning some new things, doing my research on things, and I came to my own weird conclusion that hunters, and I wouldn't say all hunters, okay? There's always that 1%. I don't care who you are. I don't care what group you think you are. There's always 1% that ruins it for everybody. But hunters in particular, I think, are more towards conservation than people who say they're conservationists. That's just the cold hard truth. And it's crazy enough, it's because we want to hunt them. And yeah, we want to hunt big, massive animals, put them on walls, eat them, you know, eat them and cook them and eat them, and do some old crazy stuff. Now, that's just me. What do you guys think? I mean, what are you guys' opinions on hunting, like the whole thought of hunting? Why is it a good thing? Why is it a bad thing? Give it some real good thought about as to what hunting really is in our society today. Now, if you live somewhere overseas and stuff, please give me your guys' thoughts and opinions on hunting in your native lands. I mean, what is hunting? What is the culture of hunting to you? What is your perceived notion about it? What do you think do some research on it. Find out what you think is wrong about it. What you thought wrongly about, what you thought rightly about it. Just give some thoughts about it. Do some research on it, and let me know what you guys come up with, because this is a very passionate thing that I've been strongly getting into more and more as the days go on. It's already the end of whitetail season. Turkey season's right around the corner. It's been something that's been strongly on my mind as somebody who just recently got back into hunting. I fell out of hunting for a while. I fell out of love of it, and now as I've gotten older, I wanted to reconnect with it, and now I feel even a stronger urge to keep diving down into this weird rabbit hole that, quite frankly, my wife looks at me and goes, "You're fucking nuts." I am nuts, but heck, I'm pretty sure she would prefer me being out in the woods, instead of driving a motorcycle, going 95 miles down the road at midnight, right after a bar trip or something. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure she would be like, "I'd rather you be out there hunting than doing something stupid." That's probably what she would say. That's probably what she's really thinking, is that she would probably rather me be out there in the woods, minding my own business, than trying to do something stupid out in the real world, because I'm batshit nuts. Okay? But what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know what you guys think about it, and do it in the comment section below. And while you're at it, go ahead and give me a like, and go ahead and subscribe to me. I mean, I talk about some weird shit on this little YouTube channel, all because I can, and because why not, right? I mean, we all have some thoughts that just pop into our head when we're just willy-nilly dicking around throughout the day. So give me you guys' thoughts, and as always, work hard. Peace.